where I make an election night prediction for Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. We're going to start with 7 p.m. State of Vermont is safe for Joe Biden. Virginia is likely Biden. I do not see that state narrowing down too much, but I think it will be a decreased margin to about 7 or 8 percentage points. The state of South Carolina is considered likely for the Republicans. I do think the margin will grow a little bit, but not by a huge margin. Kentucky and Indiana, both of those states will be safe for the Republicans. I do believe that the margin in those states will be relatively unchanged. Going to the state of Georgia, the state will be rated as a toss-up. I will go back to the state later on. Going to 7:30 p.m. poll closings here. West Virginia, of course, safe for the Republicans. The state of Ohio, the state of North Carolina is a toss-up. The state of Ohio, I do believe Republicans will end up winning the state pretty easily. Again, in the state of Ohio. I do believe Trump has the working class appeal there. Now going to 8 p.m., which has a lot of states. First of all, the state of Florida, that will be considered a toss-up. Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri, Oklahoma will be considered safe for the Republicans. On the Democratic side, we have the state of Illinois. Pennsylvania, again, a deep swing state, will be considered a toss-up. Maryland, Delaware, I think will be tired of Joe Biden because although it's his home state, I think they will have the largest backlash for the Democrats. New Jersey will be considered likely. Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts are considered safe. New Hampshire, I'm going to label it as a toss-up. Maine's first, that will be considered safe. Maine's at large will be likely for Republicans. Democrats, and Maine second will be considered safe for the Republicans. Going to Arkansas in the 8:30 p.m. poll closings, that is safe for the Republicans. Louisiana is safe in the 9 p.m. poll closings. Texas is a toss-up. I do believe New Mexico, Colorado, both of those states will be likely Biden. For the state of Arizona, that state will be a toss-up for both candidates. Kansas, likely Republican. Nebraska's third and at large will be safe, while Nebraska's first will be likely because the redistricting made a district 3 or 4 points lower, which should hurt the Republican chances in those districts. In that district, Nebraska's second is a toss-up. South and North Dakota, these states are safe. Wyoming is safe. The Rust Belt here, New York is safe for the Democrats as well. Going to the Rust Belt here, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, those states will be considered toss-up. Again, some of these states, again, Pennsylvania is more competitive than, let's say, Minnesota, but again, we're going to keep it there, all in the toss-up column. Going to the state of Utah, that state is safe for the Republicans in the next poll closing. Going to Nevada, that state is very competitive. Iowa is likely for Donald Trump. The state of Montana likely for the Republicans. Actually, likely for the Republicans. I do think the margin will narrow down a little bit. Going to West Coast, 11 p.m. Washington, Oregon, California, these states will be safe for the Democrats, and Hawaii, and Donald Trump will carry the state of Idaho. For 1 p.m., it will be Alaska in the likely Trump column. Now we could go to the competitive toss-up states. Starting from Nevada, the state is tilt for the Democrats. Now, Joe Biden did end up winning it by a lead margin. By the way, my margins are safe is 15 points above. Likely is 5 to 15 points. Lead is 2 to 5 points. And tilt is under 2 percentage points. I do believe it will be close to 2%, but in the end, I think that Trump may be able to just improve by about 0.5 to 1% and end up making it a tilt state for the Democrats. Going to the state of Arizona, that state is pretty tough. I'll say I will give it to a tilt for Donald Trump. I think that he will be able to flip back some voters and end up winning the state very, very narrowly. It will be the first state to flip in the night, as I do believe that he will win the state by 0.5%. The state was the closest state for Joe Biden in vote margin. Let me compare this state to New Hampshire in its vote margin. Yeah, it was closer, alright. So Arizona was definitely closer than many other states. Georgia was also close, but not as close. These two states are virtually tied for the Joe Biden-Donald Trump margin. Donald Trump, I do believe Texas will be in the lean column. I do think the margin will narrow down a little bit. I don't think the margin will go down under 3%, but the state is likely going to go in the lean Republican column. Florida is in the lean Republican column. I think Donald Trump may choose DeSantis. It might boost him up too likely, but I think right now it's in the lean Republican column. Georgia is in the total blue column because, again, the suburban voters in the state of Georgia is very likely going to make the state very much for the Democrats, even in an unfavorable year for Democrats. I do believe the margins, he could do very well in these areas. He might even grow upon these margins here, even if he loses support in the rural areas. Going to the state of North Carolina, the state is tough between a lean and a tote. I think it would go in the lean column just because I think Trump will narrowly increase in the margin and just narrowly be able to make it in the likely column for the Republicans, in the lean column for the Republicans. Going to Minnesota, the state is lean for the Democrats. The state has the longest voting streak for the Democrats as Walter Mondale only carried the state of Minnesota and Washington, D.C. The state has a very long Democratic voting streak. I'm not sure what it ended, but yes, I do believe it will retain in the Democratic column. Going to the state of New Hampshire, the state is very much in the Democratic column. I think Donald Trump will not be able to revert back some of those voters, making the state still for the Democrats. Go to Nebraska second. I do believe we're districting. Again, we do have the final redistricting map. The district will be tough for the Democrats to flip. So I do believe the district will go to Donald Trump. Now we're in the 247 to 247 scenario. Now we have the three Rust Belt states, which are again going to decide the 2024 presidential election. And all three of those states, I do believe Republicans have the edge in. Actually, I'm going to first give Donald Trump the state of Wisconsin. I think he'll do very well in Wisconsin. I'm not so sure about Michigan and Pennsylvania, but I think Wisconsin actually is the state that Democrats are very more likely to lose in the election. I do believe Biden will do even worse in this area, and I think he'll revert back some trends in Washington County, Waukesha County, not by huge margins, but by somewhat large margins that are able to flip the state back. I think Biden will still do very well in Dade, Milwaukee, but he'll lose support in these counties up here that Biden still got relatively high amounts of the votes. I think he'll drop another 20,000 there, so that state will be a Republican-leaning state. Now, Michigan is very, very tough, alright? I regret saying that Republicans have the edge there. However, Pennsylvania, I do believe Republicans will end up getting that 19 electoral votes in the state of Pennsylvania. I do believe it will be a tipping point state yet again. Alright, the margin will be very, very close. However, Joe Biden will lose the state. He was born in the state, however, there might be some regression, and in this, he only won the state by 1.2 points, alright? And the problem with Democrats is that this portion of the state, the Chester, Bucks, Delaware County area, these areas are, although exurban counties, these areas are not necessarily turning to the left as much as Biden would like, and I think he'll do even worse in these rural areas, and maybe even Pittsburgh. So, again, Lackawanna was, I believe, where Biden was born. I think this portion of the state will also have some regression against Biden. So, I have the state of Michigan left. I don't know who to give it to. I know you guys hate it when I leave a state blank, but that's probably how the map will go. Alright, Donald Trump and Joe Biden are virtually going to be tied in Michigan. I think this state could go either way. Currently speaking, I rate it as a toss-up. So, thanks for watching today's video. Drop a like, drop a subscription. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!